This is Mahesh Ravi, and today, being a Saturday, and I have nothing much to do, so I thought of creating a logo for creating a look for the upcoming DESCON, which is happening at Bistoons, my academy. So um, I don't have an idea about this, and I don't have a preset idea of what to make and all that. I'm just gonna, you know, um, go with the flow and let's see where we end up. So let's start building a design. You can actually see a couple of my processes, the tools that I use, and would be interesting just to watch somebody design, right? So let's get into it. Um, and the first thing that I usually try and do is to figure out the typography that I want to use. So I have a set of tools that I use, and I use something called Typeface on my Mac, which basically shows a preview of all the typefaces that you have in your system. Um, and you can also customize the text that you want. So I'm going to say I want Descon to be displayed, and I can see that with all the typefaces here. I'm just going to make it full screen, and I can see every system in here. So I can say all, and it shows me Descon written in every single typeface that I have on my system. So if you go up, you have a couple of more options here. So this is how you want to preview your display. This is how you can customize what you want to see. You can even change the color if you want this to be displayed in some other colors. So I'm just going to revert back to black. You have an option to zoom in, and you can make the fonts bigger so that you can see how it actually looks in big scale. There are a couple of filters here. So you have a fixed width mono typefaces here. You have fun typefaces which are tagged under that, modern. The PDF typefaces that I have, the styles that we have, and we have a lot of styles in here: monospaced, ornamental, sans, script, serif, symbolic, traditional, and web fonts. So we can choose anything that we want. You can also go back to all and then see everything in one glance, and you can select whatever you like. So it's a very interesting tool that I use. So one other good thing about this is that it's immediately accessible. I know that if I open any design tool on my system, these typefaces are going to be there. So I don't have to go to any type repository or Foundry and then search for it. So let's go through this and try to figure out what we are going to use for this year. This is interesting, but so let's click this and open this up, and you can see all the glyphs which are in this typeface, and it's interesting. There is even Hindi in this. You can see how text actually it's not actually appropriate for writing a lot of body content. Some features here, we can see the ligature. So ligature is how two two letters come together, right, and form one form of the word. You have superiors and inferiors, the alternates, fractions. Then there are some stylistic sets and other. Okay, so there is variable. It's not a variable typeface, so it is not going to show anything on that, and which is fine. Okay, so we have that. It's called Modak. All right, let's just go back to our page and see more options. Okay, super talls. Okay, this is an interesting form. I really like the way that it is looking. The space actually works. We have two fonts. One is regular and italic. Okay. We can see the preview of both. Interesting. Okay. It's not variable. Again, we don't need that for this particular thing. So it's called super tolls. So once we have figured this out, what we can do here is we can go to our design tool. I think there's nothing much to do. So I'm going to go to Photoshop. We are in Photoshop. Let's type our text, which is desk on, and change the typeface to super dolls. So we have it here, and we chose regular. I'm just going to zoom it. I'm going to scale it up, and this is a typeface. The spacing is a little tight, which I used it from my previous design. I'm going to reset it to 0. 0 is not a reset, but it's still fine. I'll just see it like this. So we have this. I'm just going to duplicate this just to see how the form works. I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and Flip horizontal. It's flipping like this. So the reason why we do this is something that I've explained earlier also. If you select the text like this, the regular text in a normal way, and try to create the perfect spacing, you might not be able to do a proper job because your mind is trying to read this, right? So the moment your mind can read it properly, it will say that it's the right choice. So your mind sort of takes over your design skills at that point. So it's sort of hard to find the right spacing when you look at stuff, and it's not always possible to flip it and adjust it when you're flipping it for smaller text like logo text or headings and things like that. When you do this, your mind cannot read this, so you're just looking at the form, the visual form of it, and you're adjusting the space. So you're not worrying about is it readable. Your mind is powerless at this point, and you are basically using your design knowledge, which is really, really good. Okay, so we have something which works like this. And these two things, maybe I'll just go in a little and handle this manually. I'm not sure. So negative 35. Okay, so I'm going to go with the negative 35 here. And let's go to Edit, Transform, and flip this back so that we have it. Okay, so we have discount written like this. It works. So I'm going to delete this right now. Okay, we have this text. I'm going to just duplicate this once again. We have this. So we can now play around with this. So before going to do anything, we can actually see the next version of it. Let's say we have two fonts here. So there is regular and there is italic. So we can see how that combination is working, right? If it works at all. It's time to experiment here. Like maybe we can take something here, say that everything is going to be instead of that, I can say just select one, and if I change it to italic, what is going to happen there? Okay, doesn't work. So maybe, oh, we're just saying we are not going to use it, but we are just going to see how things actually look. Okay, so I'm not very happy with mixing typefaces here, especially in this, because that's not what why I chose this particular typeface and not mix it. I'm just saying the kind of experiments that I usually do with designs like this. There's one more thing that I do, again, just showing you something that I play around with. So I'm just going to rasterize this. I just want a raster version of this typeface. So let's rasterize this. And what I do is I take a random selection tool and I sort of cut pieces here. So let's say this particular space of the E is not something that I want. I can sort of take that area. I'm going to take it and I'm going to delete it. So I have something like this. I'm just saying, I mean, it's something that I do with certain typefaces. manually just go in and sort of say that, see, if this is the gap that everything has, let's say, I'm just gonna roughly select this gap. We'll take that selection, bring it right here, and then delete the E. So I basically am able to get the same spacing with that, even though we have actually managed the spacing, but then I'm able to get the problem solved here. So by manually editing the typeface a little bit. I I can play around with extremes. Like I do sometimes. I'll select the whole top portion, something like that, and I'll play around with this, something like, can I make something like that, or can I do this? So I will be creating something which is slightly off. It is not the original typeface, but I can play around with things like that. So let's say, okay, it actually looks pretty good. Not gonna lie about that. Okay, so this is something that I'm going to use. But what I will do here is that I'm just going to make the edges a little uneven. Let's see how that works, right? So let's bring back the portions that we cut. I'm going to take a polygonal lasso tool. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to just not make it a very proper cut, but just roughly I'm just going to cut the edges here. I'm not going to do it on the sides, but okay. Let's go to select, inverse selection. I'm going to delete it. So I have something like this, right? It's not perfect. It sort of looks like it is chopped off, or it's sort of cut out from a scissors or something like that. So that is the look that I want to give the typeface. What I'm going to do, another thing that I want to try and do here is to maybe add a little bit of texture on top of this typeface. Something which says that it's been taken from a piece of paper, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to find some texture. So I might have some textures, so let's go and hunt for that. So I'll go to design resources on my folder. This is in my cloud all the time. I have some assets that I keep in here. So I'm going to go to textures, and there are some textures that I have. I have something like a paper texture, which is something that we are going to use. I'm going to drag and drop it into our design. Okay, we have that. It's good. So what I'll do is I will sort of make a selection on this texture layer. Let's say layer via copy. Let's remove the texture, and we have something like this. What we will try and do is we'll just try to invert this so that I'll get that in black, right? I want that in black. Let's bring in the levels so that it's really black and we can see a bunch of text and other materials through it, right? So create something like that. I think there's a little bit of color that is bleeding in this. So what we'll do is we'll just take the saturation completely away from that, and we have this, right? So this is something that I want to go with for discount. This is a title text that we are going to use for the majority of the events, right? Let's figure out a subheading here. So I want something like 2025. That's a subtext here. And what I'll do is I'll take a simple white patch, something like this. Okay, and let's create a copy of that patch from the background. So I'm going to just bring that on top of this, select both, and I'm going to plan, yeah, maybe somewhere here so that it's here. So we have the title look of the event. As we might know we didn't start with a plan or anything like that. It just went like that. And this is sometimes really interesting. It's sort of free form designing or sandbox designing or whatever you call it. It's a very organic form of coming up with stuff when you're not planning anything, right? It's not preset, but ideas happen in front of you and you're just taking that and using it, right? So yeah, that actually works. So maybe this motive of this rough cut and paper texture is something that I can use for every collateral that I will be designing for this particular event, right? I can use that as an identity material where maybe a border with these kind of textures bleeding on to the design, right? So this is how you work on stuff like that, and I hope this actually makes sense, and hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you with a new video soon. Till then, bye, take care.